Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down one of the most shocking developments in the entire Russia-Ukraine war, a moment that has stunned Moscow, rattled analysts across Europe, and completely changed the battlefield conversation. Ukraine has reportedly deployed a weapon supplied by the United Kingdom that Russia claims it has never seen before, something new, something advanced, something that Moscow clearly was not prepared to counter. And as soon as the first strike footage circulated online, Russian military channels erupted with panic, confusion, and anger, desperately trying to understand how this weapon slipped past their defenses and how Ukraine managed to get their hands on it. When this report first dropped, even Western analysts were surprised. For months, discussions about advanced UK systems supplying Ukraine have been mostly focused on Storm Shadow missiles, guided artillery, and special drone assistance. But this new weapon appears to be something different. A system that can strike deeper, hit faster, move smarter, and overwhelm Russian defenses that have been hardened for over 2 years. The timing of its deployment also makes this moment even more critical. Russia has been trying to push offensives in the east and south, hoping to freeze the front line before winter. Ukraine, on the other hand, has been looking for a major breakthrough, and this new UK weapon might be exactly the game changer Kiev needed. From the first hours of the strike, Russian soldiers and bloggers described something unusual. They reported incoming projectiles with unfamiliar flight patterns, unusual acceleration, and a signature that didn't match known missiles or drones. Some even said Russian radar couldn't identify the object in time, while others claimed the strike looked like a precision weapon with extremely advanced guidance. When Russian channels call something unlike anything we have seen, that means it hit them hard, and judging by their reaction, this was no ordinary weapon. What makes this moment even more shocking is the way the Kremlin responded. Instead of the usual confident messaging, Russian officials scrambled to figure out how to explain the strike. Some claimed it was a modified Ukrainian system. Others blamed NATO directly. A few insisted it was fake. But none of them provided a coherent explanation. This chaos alone shows how unprepared they were. For a government that prides itself on strong defense and impenetrable air systems, admitting confusion is rare and dangerous. But let's talk about why this weapon, whatever its exact model, has created such a stir. According to multiple battlefield observers and international reports, the strike wasn't just accurate, it was devastating. It hit a Russian military installation that Moscow considered highly secure, deep behind the front lines. The explosion triggered secondary blasts, suggesting the weapon either pierced through defenses or hit an ammunition stockpile directly. The speed, the precision, the angle of impact, everything pointed to something the Russians weren't expecting. One of the reasons this strike hit so hard is because Russia has recently been consolidating its command structures. They've been relying heavily on fortified bases away from the front to coordinate operations, store advanced weapons, and house key officers. Hitting such a target is not easy, but this UK-supplied weapon did exactly that, and the effect was immediate. Russian communication channels lit up with reports of destroyed equipment, damaged infrastructure, and possible casualties among high-ranking personnel. It's unusual for one strike to create so many shockwaves, but this one did. Ukraine's use of this new weapon also speaks volumes about the evolving partnership between Kiev and London. The UK has consistently taken one of the strongest positions in support of Ukraine, supplying advanced systems, training soldiers, and pushing Europe to increase military assistance. But deploying a previously unseen weapon marks a significant escalation in capability. It shows the UK is not just sending what Ukraine already has, it's enhancing what Ukraine can do. This sends a message not just to Russia, but to the world. The West is investing in Ukraine's long-term ability to resist aggression. And while Russia tries to downplay the strike, their own channels tell a different story. Telegram groups filled with Russian soldiers and analysts were full of anger and fear. Many questioned why their air defenses failed. Others wondered why they weren't warned about this weapon earlier. Some even accused their own commanders of hiding intelligence or ignoring signs of an imminent threat. Whenever Russian military communities start blaming each other, you know something serious has happened. Another aspect worth considering is how this weapon might shape future operations. Ukraine has been struggling with limited ammunition, aging equipment, and gaps in long-range strike capability. A new UK system gives them more flexibility. It allows them to hit targets that were previously too far or too protected. It creates uncertainty for Russia, forcing them to spread their defenses thin, and it sends a clear message. Ukraine is evolving, adapting, and receiving new tools that change the battlefield. At the same time, this strike exposes a major vulnerability in Russia's strategy. The Kremlin has been relying heavily on deeply placed supply depots, command bunkers, and logistics hubs. They believed these locations were safe due to distance and fortified defense. But the fact that Ukraine can now hit these targets means Russia must rethink its entire layout. Moving supplies farther from the front means slower logistics. Relocating command centers means disrupted communication. Rebuilding destroyed facilities drains resources. Every adaptation Russia is forced to make costs time and money, two things they can't afford to waste. Now let's talk about the reaction from Ukraine. While officials remain discreet about the details, their tone has been confident. Ukrainian representatives hinted that new technology is being integrated into operations. They also noted that this strike was part of a larger strategy designed to weaken Russia's deep infrastructure. Ukraine knows that Russia's strength lies in its ability to supply large quantities of equipment. Hitting the right targets doesn't just create explosions, it breaks the flow of war. For civilians watching from the outside, this moment is both alarming and important. It shows the war is entering a new phase, one where advanced Western systems play a larger role, where Russia's defenses are tested harder than ever, and where precision strikes become crucial in changing momentum. Whether this new UK weapon becomes a regular tool or a rare secret system remains to be seen, but its first appearance has already made an impact. Russia, of course, is not taking this lightly. Kremlin officials have started issuing warnings, suggesting that the UK involvement could provoke retaliation. They claim this new weapon escalates foreign interference, but from the Ukrainian perspective, this is simply survival. When your country is under attack, when your cities face daily missile strikes, you use whatever support you can get. And let's not forget the psychological impact. Russian soldiers on the ground are now dealing with the reality that their supposedly safe zones aren't safe anymore. That alone can weaken morale. War is not just fought with weapons. It's fought with confidence, fear, and perception. A single unexpected strike can ripple through an entire army. As footage of the strike spreads, analysts worldwide are trying to determine the nature of this weapon. Some believe it might be a precision-guided deep strike system adapted specifically for Ukrainian needs. Others think it may be a cutting-edge drone or hybrid missile with stealth characteristics. What increases the mystery is that the UK has remained silent. No confirmation, no denial, no details, and that silence speaks louder than words. The element of surprise is a powerful weapon in itself. If Russia doesn't know what else Ukraine possesses, they can't prepare for it. That uncertainty forces them to divert resources, expand radar coverage, stretch their air defense network, and react instead of plan. Every hour they spend guessing is an hour Ukraine spends preparing. But the most important part of this entire development is what it signals about the future of the war. Ukraine has shown that it can adapt, innovate, and strike deep even under pressure. Western partners have shown they are still willing to invest in new capabilities. And Russia has shown that despite their confidence, their defenses are not invincible. As more information emerges about this weapon, the world will be watching. But one thing is already clear. This was not a normal strike. This was a turning point, a demonstration of technological evolution, and a reminder that the war is far from static. For Ukraine, this moment fuels hope. For Russia, it raises fear. And for the rest of the world, it shows that the conflict is entering a new, unpredictable phase. One where advanced technology, intelligence cooperation, and precision warfare decide outcomes more than brute force. As Ukraine continues to defend its land and Russia struggles to adjust, this newly deployed UK weapon will be remembered as a symbol of change. Not just a strike, but a message that the battlefield can shift overnight, a message that innovation is more powerful than intimidation, and a message that the world is still standing with Ukraine. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned as we continue to bring you the latest updates, analysis, and breakdowns from this rapidly evolving conflict.